Welcome back to today, we're diving into the fascinating world of coin collecting. And we're talking about one of the most iconic coins in American history, the Lincoln penny. But not just any penny. We're focusing on the 1972 Lincoln penny. Believe it or not, this little 1-cent coin could actually be worth a lot of money. I'm talking hundreds, even thousands of dollars for certain types. So if you've ever found an old penny in your change, you might want to take a closer look because this one has an interesting backstory, and collectors love it. Let's explore why. Background on the 1972 Lincoln penny. First, a quick bit of history. The Lincoln penny, first introduced in 1909, was designed by Victor David Brenner, making it the first U.S. coin to feature a historical figure. The design we're familiar with, the Lincoln Memorial Reverse, debuted in 1959 and was used up until 2008. But it's the coins minted in 1972 that really stand out. The 1972 penny kept Brenner's original portrait of Lincoln on the obverse, but what makes this year special? Well, some 1972 pennies have a unique error known as the double die. This error has made certain 1972 pennies incredibly valuable. The double die. Alright, let's talk about that famous double die error. In 1972, a small number of pennies were struck with a noticeable doubling effect. What does that mean? It means that certain parts of the design appear twice, particularly on the words, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, 1972. This doubling is due to a minting error that happened when the die, which stamps the design onto the blank coin, was struck incorrectly. There are actually multiple varieties of the double die error for the 1972 penny, but the most famous is known as the 1972 double die obverse or 1972 DDO, meaning you can see the doubling on the front side of the coin. So, how much is a 1972 double die penny worth? Well, here's where things get exciting. If you find a regular 1972 penny, it's worth only face value, 1 cent. But if you have one of these rare double die pennies, you're looking at some serious cash. Coins in average condition can sell for anywhere from $100 to $300. But if your 1972 double die penny is in near perfect, uncirculated condition, its value can jump to over $1,000. And if it's in top grade condition, some have sold at auction for as much as $3,000. Other varieties and common 1972 pennies. Now, it's important to know that not every 1972 penny is valuable. The U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies that year, over 5.5 billion to be exact. So the vast majority of 1972 pennies are still worth just 1 cent. The real value is in finding one of these double die varieties. If you don't see that doubling effect under magnification, then it's likely just a regular 1972 penny, which, while still historic, doesn't carry any additional value beyond its face value. But don't get discouraged. There's always a chance you might come across a double die penny in your change, a coin roll, or an old coin collection. How to identify the double die? So, how can you tell if you have a 1972 double die penny? Grab a magnifying glass or, better yet, a jeweler's loupe with at least 10x magnification. Look closely at the words, "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," as well as the date, 1972. If you see clear doubling, especially on the tops and bottoms of the letters, you may have found a rare one. Make sure to examine the coin carefully because the doubling can be subtle. And remember, there are several varieties of the 1972 double die, so even if the doubling isn't super strong, it could still be a valuable error. Wrapping up and final thoughts. So there you have it, folks, the 1972 penny and the incredible value it might hold. This is why it's so important to check your pocket change and old coin collections because sometimes, a penny is worth more than just 1 cent. Remember, the double die error is the key to value in the 1972 penny. If you have one, it could be worth anywhere from $100 to $3,000 depending on its condition. And if it's a regular 1972 penny, well, it's still a cool piece of history. Thanks for watching, everyone. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more videos on coin collecting and other fascinating topics. And let me know in the comments, have you found any valuable coins in your collection? See you next time. Next today, we're diving into the fascinating world of coin collecting, where every detail counts. And in this episode, we're looking at a coin that you might have sitting in your pocket change or an old collection, the 1979 1-cent coin. The 1-cent coin, or penny, as many people call it, has a long history in the United States. While the design has changed over the years, 1979 was part of an era where these coins were made primarily from copper. Back then, a 1-cent coin was actually worth a cent, but times have changed. The 1979 penny belongs to the Lincoln Memorial Series, which was first introduced in 1959 to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. This coin features Abraham Lincoln on the front, or obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner. The reverse side displays the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo. Fun fact, if you look closely, you can actually see Lincoln's statue within the memorial design. It's a small detail that many people overlook but adds a nice touch to the coin. Now, let's talk about what this coin is made of. The 1979 penny is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing about 3.11 grams. That copper composition is important because, in 1982, the U.S. Mint started producing pennies with mostly zinc, which are lighter and cheaper to make. So, coins from before 1982, like this 1979 penny, actually contain more copper, which makes them worth a bit more in terms of melt value. However, it's illegal to melt down pennies, so we'll focus more on the collector's value rather than just the metal. Now here's where it gets interesting. Some 1979 pennies are actually worth more than their face value, and there are a few reasons for this. First, certain 1979 pennies have become valuable because of errors and varieties, which can make a huge difference in value. For example, double die errors are some of the most sought-after coin errors. On a 1979 penny, this means certain letters or numbers look slightly doubled, usually visible in the words "Liberty" or "In God We Trust." If you have a 1979 penny with a noticeable doubling effect, it could be worth quite a bit more to collectors. Another important detail to look for on a 1979 penny is the mint mark. Mint marks tell us where the coin was made. In 1979, pennies were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Pennies made in Philadelphia typically have no mint mark, those from Denver have a D, and those from San Francisco have an S. The S mint mark pennies from 1979 are typically proofs, which means they were specially made for collectors, with a mirror-like finish. Proof coins often have a higher value, especially if they're in mint condition, since they weren't meant for everyday circulation. Okay, so what's a 1979 penny actually worth today? The truth is, most 1979 pennies are still worth face value, 1 cent, because they were made in huge quantities. But, if you find one in pristine, uncirculated condition or with an error, its value can jump significantly. A standard 1979 penny in average circulated condition is worth about 1 to 2 cents for its copper value. However, if you find an uncirculated or mint condition penny, it might be worth around 10 to 30 cents. And if you have a proof or an error coin, it can be worth anywhere from a few dollars to as much as $100 or more, depending on the specifics. So, what does this mean for you? If you come across a 1979 penny, it's worth taking a closer look. Check for any mint mark, especially an S, and examine the coin for errors like double dies. Condition also plays a huge role, so if your penny is in exceptional shape, you might have a small treasure on your hands. If you're a beginner collector, holding on to coins like these, especially older pennies, is a good idea because they'll likely appreciate in value over time as fewer are left in circulation. So there you have it, a look into the 1979 1-cent coin and why some of these pennies are worth more than just a penny. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more coin collecting tips and history. Drop a comment below if you have any questions, and let us know if you found any interesting 1979 pennies in your own collection. See you next time.